Sweet. All right. Welcome to another episode of Empty Out the Clip. I'm your host, Let's, for today. The Ulf Cans on annual leave last minute. I don't know who signed that off, but on the panel we got the bro Eddie, Kelvin. What's up, gentlemen?
Doubles.
What's up?
Yep.
What's up, Wolf?
And yeah, you know how we get into this, man. We start off with the shoutouts. Let's go. Let's go, you, Kelvin.
Yo, just shout outs to all of you brothers and sisters and family members and friends, the community that went out and saw the also Nunu off. Shout out to you guys, man. And I live down here in Napier, but born and bred Westie. And just seeing the send off for the brothers through friends and family that attended the funeral. And now it's good to see that there and see the numbers there to support the family and support Bobby, Sonny, and Mel and Mum, especially through this time. And so, yeah, big shout out to the brothers and those close ones there, stepping into that space for comfort. And, no, big shout out. That's my shout out for
That's
the week.
us. Yeah. Shout out to all of Nonu's Ainga and friends and family that rolled up as well. Yeah. Massive, massive love being poured out for the Uso. Shout out to my usuals, the Liston boys, Westside Fitness. Um, Special shout out to one of the Usos. He don't want to name drop, but yeah, his father passed away, and his father's body was coming back, and he had to come, or didn't have to, but he wanted to stay for Nonu, and me and the other bro slipped away from Nonu's funeral just to make sure they had enough numbers to carry him in. So, nah, man, just shout out and love to everyone that's lost someone during this week, man. It's been a heavy one, but yeah, that wraps up my shoutouts. How about you, Litz?
Nice ones, bro. I got a deep list of shoutouts today, man. And first one's off to Auntie Ime and the boys, um, the sort of family and the extended family. Man, my shout out list. I gotta acknowledge the boys. To shout outs to Adrian Heber, Aki Prince, Albert Molia, Danny Bernard, Rob Ngaitau, Fosanganga, Jake Hikoi, Joe McGrill, Joe Burns, John Twimo Law, Junior Fui, DJ Kin K1, Petia, Lorenzo Kaisara, Lukatui Siupeli, Lotonu Neru, Mark Favai, Maratupo, Miki Lahi, Ray, Tuvaiti, Nabil Alifayo, Dion Briggs, Perry Tofa, Poa Pulu, Puntu Bijgood, Sao Molivai, Sanfitui, Simeone Malimali, Soanga Babsi Hutch, Sulu Bragovitz, Devito Dahakau, Victoria Maka, Tim Dam, William McCaffrey, William Holler, William Pila, and Woods Howe. That was just the KOB who donated for the Usos Kyokusi that we dropped off for the family. And for the big brother Hamelewaki as well. Abu Molia, my Ranu family, Breeze from Pussy, Miora, Tessa, for me, and here again, um, and Reed with the man. The way this guy just put the neighborhood together, man, is unreal. Like, I don't think I've seen that many people at a cemetery since West Pass. And like, um, just being able to go over and after the family 11:30 at night, like I, I'm humbled, bro. I'm humbled. I'm humbled that I was part of that. I think that they whenever saw my brother and I got to hung him out, and it's been tough, man. Like I swear, like I didn't want to get emotional in front of the boys because I knew if you know the Casa No boys, bro, they'll just mock me about it. Someone will pull out their phone, like this day and age. That's how we are. Like, and and I sort of took the opportunity just to just let the boys, the Watek boys, like have their last moments of nonce. Because yeah, I'm just grateful like I'm part of a brotherhood that you know. When I look to my right, I've got Mara Tupo and Alifa Uvao next to me. I look to my left, I've got Adrian Hiba and Joe Burns next to me. It's sort of like our support network's always been solid. But yeah, man, what a fantastic way to farewell the also. Yeah, that wraps up my shout outs, man. So apart from all of that huge Shout out, man. How's the week been? We'll start with you, Eddie.
Oh man, week's been alright. Just prepping for Christmas, so we're ordering large turkeys and getting our ham sorted. So yeah, Christmas season is a big money maker for the butcheries. So this is like our big season there. So everything's got to be on. Like everyone's got to be on top of the game. Especially with ordering, got to make sure we got to order enough for customers. Make sure we don't over order, so we got too many leftovers. You know, because it's still quite early in the season. So yeah, I think just trying to plan and strategize because you know, with the economy not being that great at the moment, we don't know how busy it's gonna be. So
Mm.
it's really a guessing game. I get everything done and sorted. So yeah, so it's been an intense week of trying to get that all done. But yeah, that's my week.
What about you, Colin? How's your week been also?
Oh yeah, it's been alright. Been a bit slow on the work front. But had a sick kid at home, so I had to play Nurse Betty
Oh,
with a sick
boy.
kid at home and cook the old noodles and eggs for lunch for 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 the for my kid, and then been trying to keep active. So I play tag on a Tuesday and 2020 cricket on a Thursday. So yeah, I didn't end up playing what do you call it? Cricket on Thursday because I pulled the hammy on Tuesday at tag. So it's
Ooh.
just like I was like, oh man, I thought I still got it, but I think on that day I realized I lost it ages ago. So, but from that, I've been nursing it and like still going to work and like, and I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna let this stop being this.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
apart
yeah.
from that, yeah, no, had a good weekend. Yeah, that's me for.
Nice. It was,
Nice, bro. Yeah, my week's, bro. My week's been pretty tough, man. Like, cause work changed my shifts. Like, I was doing like 2:30 to 11, and then come Tuesday, my one of the ladies at work cut her finger. She fractured her thumb, man. And so there was only three of us on shift. I had to ring the production manager. I'm a little worried, like like you always hear stories of people just like leaving work when someone's had an accident if they don't ring an ambulance and then rushing to the A&E, and then
mm,
they come to work and then work have their freaking why didn't you do this? Why didn't you ring me? That sort of shit. So we ended up ringing like shift manager and that like sister was alright, but I was just buzzing out like over her thumb, like first thing you do, like in an emergency like that, like if it's not like you need to do that's cardiovascular endurance, cardiovascular related, is keep the person calm. You know what I mean?
mm,
So if you any lacerations to your hands and it hangs below your waist, is like always elevate, right?
Yeah,
Elevate above the heart, stop the bleeding. So yeah, her hand was pretty bad, man. Like, and I was just like, nah, you're all good, bro. It wasn't like a hanging, but it was just like, yeah, the bone. You can see maybe the thumb underneath the thumb,
mm,
but she calmed down and she managed to drive herself, to the A&E. She didn't really want to catch a Uber or didn't want me to drop her off. Um, but yeah, that happened, and then work changed the hours to like 10 to 6. So as well as going to see nuns like during the week, because you go home on Tuesday. So I was lucky enough. Me and Solo managed to get like 3 hours with him. Like it was just us for free and Mel. So we're just the to the grave talk with the oaths. But I will say this was like I said it as a laugh, and as you do, bro. And I feel like when it comes to funerals, that's the only time you're allowed to talk about your ex girlfriends. Because you're married, you got ainga, you're happily married, you wouldn't change history. But that's the time you're allowed to talk about ex girlfriends. So it's amazing how many like oh I didn't know that. Oh true, that stuff came out. You know what I mean? And but that's gone with the Usper and his Pusoki, and I'm happy like. But nah, yeah, that week was pretty tough. I think I didn't really get to have a good cry until we pretty much put him in the ground. Like I wasn't up front. My wife was asking me why I wasn't up front, and I sort of said, "These White boys need to learn how to grieve together." Like I've, the old boys, the custom boys, we've always had that support network like
hmm
close knit. Like I didn't feel right standing out front in the shade, whereas I saw the boys in the sun. And it was the same like when we went around and visited him, like we waited out in the rain. knowing that some of the family were upset that we were coming quite so late, even though we had already organized it. Yeah, it's like the movies, man. You know how people are waiting and they're like, "Oh, who's gonna cut it? Them in," But it's like, now we're waiting in the rain. We're used to it. Like even if we're there till the morning, we'll wait. Um, so now it's good, man. Like I mentioned all these names because going in collectively, everyone played like a big part and not only played a big part in everyone's lives. Like when he came to the block, so it was like, you know, everyone's got stories. Like, there's probably not one guy who doesn't have at least 5 or 6 stories about the bro, and everyone always adds the GST on the stories too. Like, if there's one thing over this whole weekend and what Nonu's done by bringing us all together is like, apart from everyone changing their shirt sizes, but it's the extra change of GST on top of all their stories. So that's the one thing. Like, it's like, sorry, man, nothing changed for all of that. But now it's been a good weekend, bro. I thought, like, man, 3-1, the bro was like the hardest thing I've ever sort of felt there, apart from losing my parents. But nah, man, just happy, like, the day ones got to unite. Like, it's been, probably since we left Stand Up 4, man. But yeah, now it's been a good week. Yeah, and then being able to jump on and connect with my mate, Karina McCausland. She's one of mine and Non's mutual mates as well. Like, she was with me at Intermediate, and then she ended up going out at White with him. But yeah, the impact that guys had on so many lives, man, it's just unreal, eh? You can just see by the outpour of love they showed up with people passing through the house and then just showing up to his funeral, man, his burial. Yeah. But anyways, you can catch all of our episodes on YouTube and streamed on Spotify. You can also find us on WesWesNetwork.co.nz. Anytime you need to look for something to get you busy through the day, man, look up one of the podcasts is 1 of 13 that we got on the net. So yeah, and this empty out the clip is probably week to week post that we post up on our YouTube channel. So yeah, anyone and everyone, man, share the love, man. WesWes got you good. So we'll get into our topics. So, you want to start us off with the Hikoi, Eddie?
Yo, yeah, the Hikoi finally made it to Parliament. Man, like looking at some of the numbers, like the estimation was from 20 to 35,000 people made it to Parliament. Um, I wanted to have a quick look at like the background. So, businesses, how they were impacted.
Yeah,
A lot of small shops in the Wellington CBD experienced like loss of income because like the Hikoi had funneled through and blocked their businesses off. And out of the 13 shops that were interviewed, not one of them complained. A lot of the shop owners said that they didn't mind taking a hit because they said that it was for a good cause. And I think 7 of these businesses were owned by non Maori, so like it was amazing to see that support. Um, there were no arrests, and there was no major damages to any properties. Um, I think there were actually cleanup crews that followed the Hikoi, and they were picking up any litter or any rubbish that the Hikoi had caused. There were Māori warden volunteers on site, making sure that because the thing about like these Hikois and these protests is they're quite easily hijacked. There'll be other groups that will sneak in, and obviously we saw that when the anti-vaxxers occupied Parliament grounds.
yeah,
We saw the burning of that school playground and everything, and that ended up being a really bad mess. So now my hats off to the Hikoi organizers for doing this. Volunteer paramedics were on scene for anyone that was you know in distress. They were handing out bottles of water. Like for me, this Hikoi was well organized, um, well prepared, well thought out. And when it finally made it to Parliament, and it was pretty awesome to see all the people come out to talk, all the speakers, Te Pāti Māori, also Dave Letele, spoke out on some issues. David Seymour, he wanted to talk to the Hikoi. He was advised not to. But the man came out anyway and did a little wave, and then he was talking to his own social media. I was like, this is just another grab at attention. He's just trying to get the that victim card. You know, he's trying to play the I'm just a white man trying to do what's right for equality, blah blah. And he's trying to grab onto the attention. But nah, people see through it, bro. Everyday New Zealanders, everyday Kiwis are seeing right through it. And man, for 35,000 people to arrive in Wellington and not cause any disruptions like
Amazing.
violence or anything like that, it's amazing in itself. It goes to show how pure this protest is, and you know the reasoning behind it is pure. So like, there's no you know that feeling of hatred. It's more of a we're fighting for our rights, our right to be on equal footing. You know, the right to protect what is rightfully Māoris. You know, like. This is the whenua, man. Like, we have to respect the katiakis of the whenua. But, nah, yeah, that's my 10 cents, man.
Nice. So about you, Carl, what do you think about the Hikoi in up in Wellington?
My thoughts on the Hikoi. So thinking about the Hikoi and like my personal, like I watched you guys last week and talking about it, and you guys were on point, and like what you guys were saying, and how like this is important. This is the Indigenous people of our country, and they have pretty much first rights to this country, like to the lands and listening to that. So, and then Cam just gives me a text like, I don't know, 45 minutes before you guys are starting. So quickly like jumping on board, trying to like catch up on Hikoi stuff. But
Yeah.
one thing that I did like have a look at is like how is this being interpreted across the world and like other world medias, and like and just jumping on those little quick video clips. Like I jumped on a Australian one, and then I jumped on BBC and how they're reporting the Hikoi, and they're pretty much like giving a like a blasé explanation of Māori and the treaty and who the treaty's between and that kind of stuff. So I take notice of how that is being portrayed across the country. I mean, across the world, especially language, what kind of language that these reporters are using.
Yeah.
If there was one thing that I didn't notice in the Oz and the BBC is they did not use the word Indigenous.
No.
Oh, wow.
But then I checked out an American report, and it was just a video, and this video was viewed to a quarter million, so it was around like 250,000 views on that video, and they mentioned Indigenous, and they mentioned like what the treaty was, and between the two parties, the Crown, and
Yeah.
so with it's getting noticed. Like this is getting noticed around the world, and it's what's interesting is with the Australian and the BBC and England, it's those are Commonwealth friends, eh? So what's being reported to over there, it's like the languages that are being used to describe what's happening here. But if there's one thing I really took out of the Hikoi, it's just the unity. Just the talk, the kōrero that's like happening here, like being here in Napier, it's predominantly Māori in the brown community. So you hear a lot of, talk and they're proud of it. Like my partner, she's Māori, but she works for the government department, so we couldn't protest, so we couldn't walk. So, she had that thing there. But like her family, like go play tag, we play tag together, and it's, we're not talking about anything but the Hikoi. It's just Hikoi, so really proud of it, and that's awesome, and if there's one thing I take out of it too, another thing is, being Samoan, it just reminds me of the Mau, it's the Mau movement, but this is their movement now, eh? So, like we were Samoa, more Samoa, this is Aotearoa, more Aotearoa, that's what it is, and the more people recognize it and recognize the mana behind it, the better. And what does Kill Bill or whatever the bill, that guy, See more introduced. It's just stupid. He's only speaking for 8%. He only got 8% of the vote. And he says, I'm speaking for all New Zealand. No, you're only speaking for 8%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
he touched on some really good issues there, bro. But no, I think probably because I saw Fina, that movie Fina, that's on
Yeah.
TV3 on demand, and after watching that and the purpose of behind getting behind her to walk over the bridge, and like what there hasn't been a big walk over the bridge in over 28 years or something like that, 27 years. But the sheer amount of people crossing the Auckland Harbour Bridge to be broken up, and then just seeing the footage of like each town as they were passing, and it's beautiful way because they're welcoming the Hikoi for almost like a karanga, but they're also walking in solidarity next to them because they're like, yeah, you're right, like this is the land of the Indigenous, right? But then all those walking with their different flags, like
Yeah.
supporting the Hikoi is like, bro, that's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
And and we've come that far, like the Maoris have come that far that they've sort of set the tone around the world. If you look at it, like the American Indians don't even have that much, with the American, like the white man, you know what I mean? The men, the powers that be. And even if you look at the Australians, like it sort of blows me away. Like I know when I've jumped on and seen a few podcasts on YouTube, there'd be Samoans with the Australian accent, and they're acknowledging the people of the land. You know what I mean? So when you start seeing that NRL games, you have people saying, "Hey, we are the people of the land," like from the creeks right to the outskirts and the desert. Like that's how it should always be, man. You gotta acknowledge the people who are here first,
Yeah.
because like I've always said to my kids, like you stand on foot of giants, man. Your Tonga Whenua, your tupuna who came before you, you didn't have that foundation if they weren't here, and it'll be just like the Seymour man. But for him to not acknowledge the tupuna before him and just give everyone else the equal right, like over time, they will eventually just be standing on sand, right? They will just sink and disappear because the tupuna who did it before, like Fina Kupa and all those other Māoris who have done it, like the Māori kings and that, man, that's why they buried so high up on that mountain. You know what I mean? Because that's where they belong. Because that's the groundwork that they set, especially against these people with guns, man. Especially against these people who came over here and just swapped stuff for muskets and literally forced their way into the land.
Yeah.
Like, and this is still stolen land, man. Like Taranaki's story is probably the worstest that ever came when the New Zealand estate came over and muscled everyone out. So yeah, I think it's beautiful, but again, national shouldn't have even let it get that far as
Nah.
it's gone. And
It should never, ever, ever came into the question. It should have, like, Rawori, put it, like, made it simple. He had no mana.
yeah,
The mana is between Crown
yeah,
and Māori. That's it. It's not Crown. And you can say, oh, yeah, but I'm a representative of the Crown. Now, when you're going to change an agreement, it's
exactly,
boss
bro.
man and boss man.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
get an appointment.
yeah,
It's your boss and the other boss. They change the contract.
yeah.
Not the sub bosses down the bottom
Oh,
here change
absolutely, man.
contracts.
But
Yeah.
it weakens the authenticity of an agreement, right?
Yeah.
Because the reason why it pinches a nerve with me because in Tokelau it was made up of 4 islands, Tahunukunonu, Hakaho, and Olohenga. Olohenga was that treaty is called the Treaty of Tokehenga, and the American family came in, and it wasn't even an agreement; it was pretty much an eviction notice. So these people got distributed to different parts of the world, some to American Samoa, and then the rest ended up in Hawaii. So those people that goes 3 generations back don't have a home anymore, you know? And like that happens so fast. Even now in the Pacific, like people in Samoa still call Olohenga Olosenga, but notice their island, but it's an American territory. So
So there's no native people on their island. I'm sorry, this is the first
there's
time
no
I've heard
people
it.
on their islands. It's just an American family owner, bro. But yeah, you go and ask people up in Hawaii, up in Lae, like, oh, we're from Olohenga, and that's a place that doesn't exist to them anymore.
Oh,
They can't
wow.
even get there. So that's why it's like, man, we gotta stand by the Māori because that we can't let this happen to them.
Yeah.
They're literally the
And
people that all these tricks came over and now call New Zealand home. Like that's why
yeah.
we gotta be side by side with them.
Yeah. And that's one thing like. I'm that guy. You guys probably just met me for the festival, but I'm that guy. I like looking deep. And like, I don't, but why? Ask the questions. Why
Mm,
the treaty principle? And then you look at who's orchestrating it, and it's all David Seymour and the ACT Party, and then you got to keep on looking. Okay, so obviously he's got to have someone behind him pushing this kind of agenda, and it's like, why? And it's the
yeah,
treaty, and like, yeah, they got this cover story of equal rights for all and all
mm,
that, but then you got to think, like there's resources that are connected to the treaty.
yeah, absolutely.
There's resources that are connected to that treaty. And that's why people need to realize how important the role of Māori with this treaty and
Yeah,
the resources of our country.
yeah, man.
Like, so it's really sad that that it's come about, and for me it's a sad thing because like it's caused division. Being a proud Kiwi, being a proud New Zealand born Samoan, like, man,
Yeah. Exactly.
there's enough bullshiki, like.
Yeah. Was there anything else you wanted to add to that, Eddie?
No. I think you guys covered some really good points here.
Yeah, we can only just wish the best for what happens from here on in
Yeah,
after
it's the
yeah,
moving forward part will be the next, what they do from here, the Hikoi, the movement, whatever you want to call it, like
yeah,
this bill, it's all going to be reactive. What happens in government, and there's going to be a reaction.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah,
Sweet man. So moving on. So on the 21st of November, the gang patch law had come into effect, and I think within maybe 6 hours of midnight, we had one arrest.
yeah. The first,
Um,
yeah.
w- I will throw it back at you guys, man. Like, what do you guys think of how the police are exercising and using resources to crack down on the gang patches in public spaces? We'll throw it over to you, Kelvin.
Uh, I don't know, like, 'cause the first arrest was actually down here in Hastings. I think I was 6 minutes past midnight.
Well,
Uh,
you're not in a cell, so you're doing all right. Yeah,
yeah,
carry
yeah, I
on.
do all right. Nah, this is, like, we could go on and on and on about this topic, or what this, whatever this law, gang patch law, if there's one thing, it's human rights, it's just,
Yeah,
this is human
100%, man.
rights, like, so you've got a list of targeted patches, and then, you're picking on a demographic of people,
Yeah,
you know, and that's what it is. And for me, it's like, I can see the safety, what they want to do, but it just opens the doors for something else. All of a sudden, like, okay, there's this crap that's happening overseas, and if you're wearing a turban, like, you can't, you're a terrorist, like, it's
yeah,
just, label. It opens the door to other things, labeling, and then, yeah, I'm not a fan of it, but and it just takes away resources where resources could be,
yeah,
especially police time, money, like, this is taxpayers' money, like, yeah, it's just, I don't think this is just like plaster stuff, it's the issue's systemic, it's deep,
yeah,
you know, it's like, what are you trying to achieve, So that's my thoughts, I think it's just, I can do it, I'll do it, but I don't care if it's gonna work or not,
mm,
Yeah.
That's, yeah, that's my thoughts on this game
Yo,
patch.
no, you're right. Like I feel it's like it's real it's real lip service to the voter base of the National Party.
Mm,
They want to crack down on gangs and on patches and whatnot, but like for me, you're just gonna drive them under. Just gonna drive them underground, and they're gonna find ways to identify without using patches. You know what I mean? Um, for me, like you want to know who people are, and like wearing patches, okay, better stay away from this guy or blah blah.
mm,
But now that they're gonna be in plain clothes, it's like, man, is the community really any safer than it was before?
Yeah.
You know, and
Alright.
I don't, regardless of what it is, I don't trust the government going into people's homes and taking down patches. I feel that's an evasion of your right as a citizen, your right as a human being. Basically, you're right. Your basic human rights are being trashed on. And why are they targeting just patches? Like, what about white supremacist emblems? You see people with the SS tattoos on their neck. You see them like their little T-shirts, with uh, with really heavy right wing emblem on it. They're not targeting those, bro, and yet they're targeting the patches. At the same time, it's innocent people get caught in the crossfire. I mean, recently Leti and I were at the funeral for Nons, and the police were out in force, bro. Um, you know, they were blocking roads and stuff. They were taking photos of people on bikes. For me, time and place. I know it's the law, but man, it's a funeral, man.
Mm.
If these cops did their research and understood what Nonu stood for, they wouldn't be caught within 50 miles of the police. You know, it's for me, it was a little bit of a disrespect. There was a bit of a tad bad taste in my mouth when I got there, and the police were there. I was there trying to mourn for a friend. But yeah, having the police all around just made it a bit more uh kind of put that tense feeling in the air. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And you're a young kid, living it rough, and you're going to see a funeral of a friend and whatnot, and you see all these police out in force. I mean, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? You're just gonna have that bad thing, and also, like, I feel bad for the police. They have to do it. You
Yep.
know, they're just human beings too, bro.
Mm.
Their job's already stressful enough, and then they gotta like do this. There's like a babysitting kind of like job for them. They gotta go around. Hey, look, you gotta take that off. And like, what are you gonna do with the patches, bro? You take off their patches, they're fully tattered. They got the patch tattooed on the skin. Are you gonna cut their skin off? Like, come on, man. Like, this law is real dumb, bro. Waste of money, waste of time. The resources should be funded towards kids. Looking after kids that are growing up in these hard communities.
Mm.
You know, people like Nonu, his programs and whatnot that he did in the community, that needed the money.
Yeah.
That needed the funding. You know, not these ridiculous laws um, just to provide that kind of like, oh, we're doing something for our community, for their voter base. But yeah, that's my 10 cents on it, man. How about you, Let's?
I think after just watching that clip there that I shared on the MD Other Clip page, Facebook page, and just yeah, like I agree with you both, man. Like it's a waste of resources. It's almost like now patch members become plain clothes, and just the fact that they fast tracked the bill in order to be able to give them the police the rights to come and rip memorabilia off the walls in your own home now. Like, fuck, people work hard for their homes and stuff like that, and it's like, who now they give them the right to come into your home and rip something
Mm.
off the wall? How ridiculous is that, man? They they give the power to police to come in and remove something within the safe space of you nurturing your family, and those four walls to pull something off the wall. That's fucked, man. That is the easiest way to say it. That's fucked.
Yeah.
Like a gang patch, people who choose to wear patches or choose to patch up, they have their own reasons and like their own sort of call for it, so to say. But I mean, giving the police the power to remove a piece of clothing off someone's back, like I would have loved to be a fly on the wall when they were sitting down with these so-called patch member, you know, presidents or whatever, or like wherever these AGMs. I know when after Nikita's 21st, one of the bros said that they had an AGM, and it was probably around the ring of Patches and Mangry and that, But it just, man, it's like, of all things the police commissioner could be doing, and now the prick's fucking stepping down and letting the new dude step into his place, and the dude's just come from Interpol. He's more or less singing two different tunes, bro. You got one guy tuning in saying we'll crack down, make sure that there's no patches in public places so people aren't fearing for their safety and that. Then you go ask another, shopkeepers and people just on the ground, they're like, well, they've been around as long as anyone else in the neighborhood, you know? And then you got this new dude coming into freaking power, and he's just like, oh, the last thing we want is, we want police safety and give them body cams, and we don't want them to go crooked like how other international cops are. Well, fucking clearly, these two are on two different fucking spaces, man. Bro, and it sounds just like how the government are just fast tracking all of their bullshit, bro. It's like they wanna tick off all the shit that they said they'll do when they come into power, like the removing of Māori names and this coalition bill with their fast tracking this Hikoi that's happened with the changing of the Treaty of Waitangi and that, as well as this shit bill. Like fuck, if there was a waste of taxpayer money that National's done again, like the fucking changing of the flag, this is another one, bro. And who funds it? We do.
Yeah.
You know? So all those people who fucking voted for these bunch of guys, fuck, seriously, bro, read the fucking documents and ask the MPs what the fuck they're doing, man, because this is one of the craziest ones I've heard. Like in my lifetime, I never would have thought that we could go from and I strongly like, yeah, I'd seen it in a lot of my life, but mate, the fucking guys who wear them are just like me and you, man. You know, they got families, they got parents. What the monkey see, monkey do. Whatever your kids see, that's what you do. About half of these people, man, like really over a piece of clothing. Fuck! I almost wished all those patch members fucking wore their patches at the funeral. There'd be so many people fucking jumping in the way of their family members, man. You know? I just don't get it, man. Like I would love for David Seymour to come through and see some of the love that I've seen at some AGMs, man. But this guy and that Bill, bro, that Crooks Luxon, bro. Maybe he got bullied as a kid at school. I don't know. Fucking maybe someone took his lunch and fucking
You just don't know where these kind of thinking's coming from.
really
Like,
straight up.
it's like, yeah.
It's just hard to figure, like, bro, like, what in his right ballsack does he think is gonna be achieved? It ain't gonna stop the fucking rand rates. It ain't gonna stop fucking. He should be trying to fix the poverty gap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cut the fucking taxes on fucking vegan meat, man. Cut it. Like, fucking help us survive. Don't fucking widen the gap by fucking isolating a bunch of guys who choose to live a certain way and make the rest of the country fucking pay for it.
Yep.
Like, bro, this guy needs to pull his head out of his ass, man. But that's where I am, man, with it, man, like, in terms of, like, patches, bro. But yeah, I know if I was patch, bro, I fucking would have worn my patch, bro. I would have worn my patch. I would have worn it. It was too hot to wear my cousin fucking Letterman. I just fucking, even just wearing this, bro, like wearing that.
Yo.
If I'd have put that on a leather vest, bro, I would have wore that proudly, bro. Straight up.
Yeah.
Harder.
And Lon probably would have said, take your shirt off, but I probably would have kept my shirt on because I haven't worked out in so many years, But still, bro. Waste of resources and money, bro. Honestly.
Waste of money. And it's a safety thing too, like now you're training these cops coming through into invading people's homes, like all it's gonna take is one wrong home to be invaded.
Ooh.
And then what? Okay, cop got shot, then what? Okay, all of a sudden cops are wearing guns. Like it's just a recipe that it creates.
It's escalation.
It would be interesting to see how a defense lawyer will defend the person by giving them the right. Say if I had a little headhunter's badge on a jacket, on a little badge hanging up, and a cop came and broke into my house, but I could give you right to my kids to fucking mace them and smack them over the head. I would like to see a defense lawyers from the crown trying to defend it. Like, okay, so they break into this guy's house, his kids obviously, these guys. What are they plain clothes or because are they wearing police uniforms?
Yeah, what are they carrying with them?
Bro, and it's like, bro, if someone comes swinging, bro, I've told my kids, bro, smack him over here with a bat. There's a didgeridoo right there by the door, fucking knock his ass out. Like, people, these people are just making more difficult to live with all the policies and so-called laws that they're throwing out everywhere, man, and it's just making it everywhere else in the world a lot more attractive, eh?
Yeah.
I don't.
I didn't
Yeah.
even know what I'm getting worked up for. Huh?
We're all getting worked up and we're not even
Yeah,
patch members.
but man, love to all the patch members, man. They are
Yeah,
people
man.
like us, you
Shout
know
out
what I
to
mean?
them, like,
And they're doing the mahi in their communities, doing
yeah.
the work and keeping their community safe. They're just like us trying to make a living, man, trying to survive, man.
Yep.
Mm.
So, they just people just like us,
Yeah. And they're brotherhood people like us.
Yeah, man.
We went and found brotherhood, whether it was through church, through rugby, through league, through whatever's, they just found a brotherhood a
Yeah.
different way, and
Yeah,
there's
man.
nothing, that's all it is. It's just a brotherhood.
Yeah. Some of them would have
Yeah.
come from broken homes,
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
searching
exactly.
for their family.
Sense of
So
belonging. That's
yeah,
it.
I mean, don't
Is it?
judge.
Yeah.
White man's world, mate.
Yeah.
Well, over to you. What is it? Your uncle said your uncle was it your captain, Tony? Was it Tony Kemp?
Tony Kemp.
International. Did you want to share that one?
So his on his podcast, what was his
Oh,
name?
he's got a
Devlin.
podcast. Oh, that's right. He's on a podcast.
Yeah.
Eh?
Yeah, the Devlin Sport. Yeah, so had that podcast there, Tony Kemp talking about the Kiwis and the international side of things. Um, if there's one thing I took away from it is just how much control NRL has over the international calendar.
Mm,
You know,
yeah.
and so they talk about that, the NRL controls, and then talking about Toa Samoa and Mate Tonga, or Tonga doing their own origin,
Mm.
like a three test. So yeah, they were talking about that. Did you guys get a chance to have a watch on it, or?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so Tony Kemp talks about like how um, New Zealand's kind of lost the chance to make something from that when Jason Tomalolo and those guys first did the old switchover in that World Cup.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
World Cup that was here in New Zealand. He talks about that. He talks about how New Zealand kind of missed the bandwagon on that, and then now they're paying for it, and like they're on the back seat now, Kiwis. With Australia driving everything, and then you got Toa Samoa and Tonga, and like now they've got the upper hand as
Yeah.
well.
Mm.
Like they're not the backseat cuzzies that they used to just sit back and to see what happens with Australia and New Zealand, and then just pick up the treats from there. Like Tonga and Samoa have got to a point where they actually can. Now we want these matches now. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
because we can pull in the fans, we can pull in the money. Like. And that's evident, like you watch the what do you call it, the Tonga in Australia, and then the Kiwis in Papua after, and there was nobody in the stadium for the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then, and then, and then for NRL's running the international, they're all about money.
Yeah.
They're all about spreading the game money. So if they know that they're gonna get guaranteed pack out Mount Spur, guaranteed pack out Parramatta Stadium. Yeah, we'll have 3 matches of Samoa versus Tonga.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, Tony Kemp was talking, well, we could have jumped on that bandwagon back when it was in the World Cup, when the red flags first started arriving, but
Mm.
New Zealand missed out on it. And then that's what he was talking about. And he's talking about bringing back the Aussie versus Kiwis, bringing
Yeah.
back the 3 test series.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon that's true. What are your guys' thoughts on it? Like bringing back the Kiwis versus Aussie. Because if that's the case, if Samoa and Tonga have their 3, why couldn't Aussie and Kiwis have their 3 and just do hit 2 games in the stadium? That'd be mean. You'd sell out those stadiums hard.
You. What about you? What do you think, Eddie?
Yeah,
You
man.
get first.
No, it's true. Australia does have a lot of control, especially international tests. I wish international tests were more for like closer to mid-year, like mid-season would be nice. But I understand a lot of the players play for the State of Origin and play international, so it's a little bit hard, especially for the TOA boys and Matema. So yeah, it would be a bit of a struggle. But I miss the Anzac tests. I think they should bring back the Anzac test at least with Aussie and New Zealand. But yeah, it's hard because the Kiwis have always had the best selection of squads, you know, with Samoan, Tongan, Fijian heritage, but they never quite got on top of Australia. You know what I mean? And then when the Tongan boys, you know, Taumalolo, Fifita, Haral, and all them boys, Havili decided to put their head up for Tonga. That took a lot of power away from the Kiwis. Um, I think the Kiwis just kind of started struggling since. But man, the Kiwis still have a lot of talent. Like you know, you got that Big Ben from the Broncos, Xavier Willison coming through. Like they can select those boys as well. I think the Kiwis probably need to do a bit more of a rebuilding to get up there, but more marketing. Even if the Kiwis decided to do maybe rotation series during the State of Origin. So when State of Origin happens, maybe have the Kiwis play Papua New Guinea that weekend, you know, on the same week as State of Origin. Or have like Kiwis versus Tonga. Like you can mix and match it up. But I think like Australia pushes it for the end of year because they want State of Origin to still be the pinnacle this rugby league stage. Because even now, man, State of Origin is still regarded as one of the best rugby league exhibition matches.
Yeah.
Higher than any international game. You know what I mean? So it's hard to kind of like argue to put internationals in that spot. But big shout out to Tonga, man. Their fans. If it wasn't for the Tongan fans, I don't think any of this would be in conversation at all. I mean, I love Toa Samoa. I love my Samoan people, but the Tongans, like, man, they roll deep. But yeah, that's my 10 cents on it, man.
Yeah, I think Tony's right. They missed the boat on it, eh? Like but then again, you're right, Eddie. Like they get first choice of a lot of the NRL potential that's Kiwi based or has some sort of tie to NZ. Like you know, because a lot of them, like you know, you pull up junior club, either in Auckland or somewhere up and down New Zealand. I think in terms of like the international pictures, I love that they're circulating the way they had been like they done this year because like you seen the struggle as much as the tour team were good on paper, or even there was a young team, even had they had sent like a informed like World Cup team, it still would have they still would have struggled, man, because the way they play up in the UK is a lot different. The NRL having the stronghold over rugby league in general, I think, yeah, it's like there's a lot of money to be made, but how much would the tour, New Zealand, and Tonga benefit from any of it? Like there should be like at least a buffer where the NRL would know, okay, just for that time being, if we are going to have test matches or play the specific cup, how much of that money can be put back into the game and into those nations? Because bro, they make a killing, bro. They make a killing. Like Parramatta Stadium, ever since they built it, fucking's always sold out, man. And the only way that the Toa and Tonga can do well in Australia is if they're at Parramatta or Mount Druitt or out in Penrith, you know? Because if they went to Homebush, they would struggle to fill their stadiums. But the smaller stadiums closer to like Mount Smart, Ericsson is like those two stadiums in particular, and because of where all the islanders are in Sydney, anyways, you know. Yeah, I think weakening the game, like man, the best thing that ever happened to rugby league was when Fafita and that jumped ship.
Yeah.
And I think also, like, man, Tonga and Samoa is only going to get stronger.
Yeah.
It's when the International Rugby League Federation, decide to make Tonga or Samoa tier 1 teams, and that's gonna stop that you can't move up and down sort of thing, right? So why not play State of Origin style, test match of Tonga and Samoa, or even Fiji, PNG, and the Cooks? Because I think the Pacific nations need the test matches, eh? Because to be honest, if Alex Glenn came out of retirement to play for the Cooks, that's only one guy who still got it right. What's going to stop the other guys coming back to make their team even stronger? Because there'll be heaps of NRL players. It's not just Pacific. It's not just like saying like 55% of the NRL is Pacific. It's not just Samoans and Tongans. There'll be Fijians, you know, a few New Wayans there, and Papua New Guineans. But yeah, cookies. It'll be interesting, like to actually see a spreadsheet of who can play for who, and it's not just someone who's made one up, Because I'm sure Talakai's, but he, like, just hearing him talk, like, just briefly about him not being able to play for Tonga, and because he turned his back on Tonga and him not getting along, like, as what he said, Wolfie said, like, that's interesting, eh? Like, but if you've been and put it to Jason that, like, hey, what's the chance of Talakai coming into the squad? I bet you they would say, why the fuck isn't he even in the ring? Like, why hasn't he been playing in the first place, right? But it's probably something that these guys don't want to talk about, But I reckon if Talakai had played in their first game against Australia, bro, they probably would have won that game, to be honest. I mean,
He's still a beast, bro.
Well, that's it, eh?
Yeah. If there's another thing, like, outside of the Tony Kemp thing, but just the players going to tour and choosing Tonga, and I had a conversation with a friend, like, hard out Kiwis, and then he's, but they come through the system, and the Kiwi system or the Aussie system, and and I'm like thinking, oh, so what should these guys,
They owe them.
owe them? But then I
They owe
said,
them.
but they've given back in the NRL anyway through their clubs.
Yeah.
Because it's the clubs that pay them, after that. And they give back to New Zealand and Australia through playing for their NRL teams. Like all the merchandise, all the fans, all those little kids, that see them in their club jerseys, that's them giving back to the investment that the clubs and the games have given into them. And when it comes to international rugby, they should be free to go, without any, oh, you should be playing for New Zealand. Oh, you're New Zealand born, you should be playing for New Zealand. Or you're Aussie born. There shouldn't be any of that kind of stuff, eh? But yeah, no,
But it's heritage.
Yeah.
But yeah, and what are your guys' thoughts? Like, just thinking of the Aussie and Kiwi thing, and what are your thoughts about the Southern Hemisphere teams going up to England, and that was or should have just stayed down here and played down here?
I reckon they should have stayed here and played.
Yeah.
I think every team struggles with the flights and that, and then the climatizing and that. They should have came down here. I mean, look, Penrith didn't even want to play that one-off game against the team up there. So I never been a fan of the teams going up there to play.
I guess that's where England, they didn't have much. It's only England, really, eh? Like, yeah. Always thought that they should start like a Barbarians, like how the rugby have a Barbarians. They should still leagues Barbarians, and then they could have an international team. All those international players that to help them with their international rugby. I don't know league.
That'd be cool, eh?
Is
there any more on that, Eddie?
Nah. Sick.
See, that's, man. Or we'll get into a Fia Poko of the week then.
Yep.
The Fia Poko of the week this week, man, because it's been a tough week for us, the fans on the WesWes Network, but we got a few. I think we got three. We got three here. So this one's titled SMH. Parents complained that the slide is not safe. Here comes the officer who tested it. It's a post from Instagram. And
Let me.
so good on the cop for taking it upon himself to make sure that there was nothing in there that hurt the children. But yeah, I don't know. Does that look safe? There wasn't even a water at the end of the pool of the sliders.
Oh.
But according to him, yep, it's safe. Yeah. So that's Fia Poko of the week number 1. Our second one, and I'm not a fan of these pranks, eh? Like these people, like if someone's heavily pregnant, like this missus obviously went as far as getting like a jug of water, pretend she peed all over the floor like her water's break, and then tells her daughter to go get the korua. Like, who does that?
I tell you.
I titled this, "Oh dear."
Oh, it's the water break.
Yeah. Well, she's obviously pregnant, right? She's cool. And then she stands there like, what in the hell is she doing, man? Why would you do that?
Oh.
Yeah, ngale. So
The way he just slid across.
husband obviously fuck, running, you know? Freaked himself out. And then he's tripped up and knocked himself out. Like, see, guy, see. And the last one, bros, I don't know, man. This has got to be the most funniest one. This is one you posted earlier, Eddie.
Yeah.
It's getting funnier and funnier. Like, Palangis and boats, bro. Jeez.
Bro, this.
I think all I can hear is the songs. This is the way you ride the boat. I don't know. I swear, whoever's idea was to hold on to the sides, ngale.
Hey.
I leave it to you, Kelvin. You can pick the Fia Poko of the week.
Oh, Fia Poko. Oh, out of those 3?
Yeah.
Oh. It would have been had to be the second one, eh? The second one.
The baby?
The baby prank.
Baby
prank.
The water's breaking prank.
Yeah.
Tough one between that one and the cop.
The slide from... I'll go for the slide.
Yeah.
Man, because, like... I mean, we can't play the audio.
I don't think I want to go with the slide, eh?
Can't play the audio, but you can hear him banging through the inside before he even comes out.
Yeah, man. Fia Poko of the week to that copper.
It's probably a stitch up, eh? He probably did something.
I hope he doesn't work at the Henderson police station, but the copper wins the Fia Poko of the week, hey?
Yeah, no, because you can hear him when he tests the slide, he's banging through before he even comes out.
Yeah.
But even the breaking of the water, that's scary because, like, if you're a father and you're like, oh, it's like that fight or flight emotion, you're rushing out, like, man.
I don't think honestly, I don't think if it was a Samoan, I don't think it would have happened, bro.
Yeah.
Because it would have been those.
Oh, look at the mist.
Yeah. Because that's the first thing, it would have been the pause. You know, like, we're not that kind of like just jump in there, boom, we're like we got that stop, touch, silly, and then we, delegate. And then delegate from there. It's just pause and then delegate. Especially we got kids.
But man, lucky the guy didn't get a concussion. Like, man, what if he got knocked out? And then that really happened there.
Yeah, and it really happened. But the cop one, I'm sure there was a stitch up, eh? Like, I'm sure there was someone didn't like me. Didn't like her. Oh, bro, someone didn't like me. Bro, the kids are complaining that it's not safe. We need to see if this is.
The cops already knew.
He's full, I don't know how many times he hit his head to the sides, but by the time you see him, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4 on the
Yeah.
way out. Like so. I don't know how many he did it inside the tunnel, the slide. Poor dude.
You see, I think the clip for his gun rolled out as well or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. That's dedication to your community. He probably got employee of the month off his photo.
yeah.
Yeah. Big golf ball sticking.
Oh no. What happened to you? Oh, I had to fight a gang.
Yeah, yeah,
I had to go get the patch.
yeah. Had to depatch this guy.
I had to depatch this big island guy.
Yeah, man. Be
Yeah.
interesting though with that patch, the game patch.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that like. I just hope it just fizzles, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like okay, 12 o'clock, midnight, and then oh yeah, we got our first arrest at six
Yeah.
past the midnight. Like.
Yeah.
And then it just goes like that, and all hyped up about it. Even the cops are hyped up about it. But then hopefully it just simmers down because it's new, and then common sense prevails.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
common
That's
sense prevails. But at the moment, because it's brand new, cops got to be deemed reactive. They got to sell that. Yeah, we're buying into
yeah.
it, and
I like that word common sense.
yeah,
That's just yeah.
but it's
Like,
not common.
that's the thing, bro. It's not, man. Like
Yeah,
people need to just stop, take 2 steps back and think about it. Like what you're saying with the pregnant video.
mm-hmm.
Like, yes, just think, have a moment, see
Yeah,
what happens.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, especially when it comes to entering people's homes, because that's new. That's not a
Yeah.
a Kiwi thing. As Kiwis like that never maybe in the dawn raids, but it's not
Yeah.
a Kiwis aren't used to flipping
Yeah.
cops doing the old bust down the front door and like
It's
freeze
very
motherfucker, like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's what I mean, like. Well, with these things like the gang patch laws and that, like it opens the doors for that,
Mm.
it opens the doors for that American stuff that we used to see on TV.
Yeah.
Now it's coming towards our back step because, governments and creeping and more into our human rights. Now they're writing laws where we come into your house if you got this, this picture of something, picture of a dog or picture of a fist, like.
Yeah. And that's the thing, bro. Like trauma leads to quite heavy emotional scars that
Mm.
causes negative reactions.
Yeah, 100.
It's hard to stay positive when something like that happens to you. I always picture myself in their shoes. Yeah, you're a young kid in a house. You're watching your dad getting pinned down to the ground while other cops are removing, just pieces of cloth, like clothing.
Mm.
And the thing is, those patches are probably sacred to these people, sacred to this guy's way of life, and you're taking that
Mm.
away from him. You're just causing more anger, more trauma,
Mm.
and you're just creating this emotional scar that echoes through, not just through him, but through his kids, for
Mm.
his kids' kids. And this brings me back to the whole David Seymour and his bill.
Yeah.
A lot of people see through it for what it is. Yeah, it's divisive. But then you hear people say, why aren't the Maoris, like this? Why aren't the Maoris like that? Why are they drinking and like this? And why they're in our prisons and whatnot? It's because of this trauma, bro. You go all the way
Mm.
back to the 1840s, 1850s, 1880s, 1890s, up until, the 1900s. You've seen entire people, entire iwi, entire hapus, entire tribes be forced off their land. So that trauma has been passed down, bro. You're you're a young kid. You're a young kid, and you're listening to your grandma or your grandfather talk about being pushed off their land. You're gonna tell your kids about it. You know,
Mm.
so this generational trauma has gone right through, and and because you're not living in your land, there's no connection from yourself or the whenua. There's no connection
Mm.
from yourself to your roots. So there's going to be issues with with yourself mentally. You're going to
Yeah.
be dispossessed to being always angry and always pissed off towards the government for what they've done. And then to make things worse, from the 1900s to I'd say the 1960s, there was that discrimination towards Māori.
Mm.
Māoris weren't allowed to be served
Drink,
alcohol through the front
drink
doors.
that.
You had instances in Papakura where the Māoris couldn't watch the cinemas together. They had to go upstairs and watch from a balcony. They couldn't sit down near the screen. So you've got these laws that have been systematically targeting Māoris specifically, And then, when the Samoans and all the other islanders came, it got redirected to us for a little bit. And then, the 1980s, 1990s went back to Māoris.
Okay. Yeah, went back.
It's like they were never given a break, bro.
No,
I guess,
no. Yeah, and it's just all recipes for oppression, recipes for, it's just like you have this government, they come in new and they put in these new policies in. You want positive as a Kiwi and as a voter. Okay, sweet. Let's see what these guys are doing. You want to see policies being pushed out, but they have more positive
yeah,
outweighing the negative because
yeah,
everything's going to be a positive and negative. But you
yeah,
want
yeah,
more positive and their positive policy outweighing the negative. That's
yeah,
what you want to see as a citizen or as a thing. But that a lot of these policies that have been pushing through, the negatives outweighing the positive. You know
yeah,
what I mean? And that's not a good sign. Like I
yeah.
said, what are we in for?
Like,
We've got 2 more years of this.
man, hard. And like people say, oh, Māoris get special treatment and blah blah. But like, man, like I've been on ACC recently because of my knee, busted my
Mm,
knee at the gym, and I applied for ACC, no hassle. Going through all that, no hassle. So what rights have been impeded by me? Like
mm, mm, mm.
they're not gonna say to me, "Oh, you can't get ACC because you're not Māori." Nah, bro. Like my rights are all fulfilled. I can go to the doctor. I can walk up and down the road. There's no
Mm.
impediment on my rights at all.
No.
And the reason why Māoris are getting special treatment, with scholarships and stuff, is we're trying to bring the Māoris up to being equal with normal Kiwis.
Yeah.
These scholarships and stuff that are targeting Māoris is to help them, like bring them out of
Yeah.
this trauma, of the scarring and whatnot. But like that,
And
what? Yeah,
that's what, sorry to cut in,
oh,
but that's
yeah,
what important about this treaty
yeah,
because the treaty is that relationship between Crown and Māori, and with this treaty, it's on the Crown because to bring Māori up,
yeah, exactly.
like that's what the treaty is for, and that's what I mean. Like you got to look behind why to ask the question why
Yeah,
this bill. Why do you want to take the responsibility of what your role between Māori, the Crown, and
yeah,
Māori was supposed to be? Was that you're supposed to bring Māori up with you, not bring Māori down? That's what the treaty's
exactly.
about.
Like, man,
You
I forgot what politician said this, but like, I don't want to misquote it. It was like, when you are accustomed to privilege, equality seems like oppression.
Mm.
Like when you've been privileged your whole life and you want to be on equal grounds with somebody, if you want to bring the Māoris up to be equal with you, it feels like the Māoris are oppressing you. You're like, you know what I mean? Like it's real. It's a real dangerous rhetoric. Like you go to North Shore, you go any of the nicer white places, and they don't have as much alcohol shops. They don't have as much takeaway foods. The KFC, the McDonald's, the Burger King.
Mm.
They won't have that much. They will have like nice, clean restaurants, little winery like shops and whatnot. You head to any area where the population are like a more brown, you'll get heaps of alcohol shops. You got heaps of those instant finance places.
Mm.
Heaps of like dollar dealers and stuff. Like systematically, all the stuff is to keep us where we are.
Mm.
They don't want any of the Maoris or any of the Browns to come up. That's why I said, like, with these special privileges of these Maori and Pacific Islander scholarships and whatnot, is to help bring us up to their level.
Mm.
It's not special treatment.
No.
Majority
No,
of white kids go to university because their families can afford it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got kids that are still in college, like doing 6th and 7th form, who are working part-time jobs to help their mom and dad, bro. So you're calling these scholarship special treatment? Get the fuck out of here, man.
But,
Hey,
Nah, you're
bro.
right. Wolf. Like that special treatment bullshit, bro. Like I would say I was earning enough for my missus to stay home to go see the kids, bro. And then as the times had changed, like the inflation and the price of gas going up, bro, wifey had to go to work. But us having our first daughter go into uni, like she's the first out of all our family to go through the uni out of all the grandkids and that. But she wasn't entitled to anything because of the threshold of what we were earning.
Mm.
And so it's almost like the blessing came after I had walked out of my job at Coke to earn a bit less money. And now she's entitled to it, apart from the first year of university free. But because at the time she had started working part-time, this is to help her pay for her own school fees, where she was never entitled to the scholarships. But how crazy is that, man?
Yeah.
Being the first in your family to go get a uni education and still not qualify for it. Like, that's fucked. And so that's why when they started saying these special privileges or even these spaces, it's like, bro, our Pacifica kids are the minority in those spaces.
Exactly.
They need somewhere to go commute and see their own color. Like, a singer in Inkia doesn't look like any of us, man. Like, get real, And it's crazy, bro. Like, they're just they're trying to weaken us, man. And they're doing using every opportunity and every policy to try and do so just by hanging us out like that to dry, man.
They benefit more if we stay where we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100.
Yeah, that's real talkers, straight up.
So we had like a little mini podcast while you were gone.
That's the one, bro. Hey, that's it, man. That's it, man. If one of us is Matty, hey, the show must go on, bro.
The show must go on.
But was there any more on that one else? Nah.
Nah.
Was there any more on that? No. All right, then we'll get into what have you guys been watching. So for you, Eddie.
Oh man, I've been watching just like small docos on YouTube. Watching a series called From. But man, just watching Sopranos, eh? trying to finish that off. Man, it's addictive. It's so good.
What are you up to? Are you up to season 1 still?
Yes, near the end of season 1. So like at the moment they're cleaning up house. They were at a wedding and someone had passed down that the cops were onto them. So they're all moving their money, like, opening their little hidden spots.
The indictments, eh?
Yeah, so they're moving their kupe. So I'm up to just past that episode. But yeah, I'll probably watch it after this.
I love that series. Is so cool, man.
Sopranos, man, it's classic.
Yo,
I used to have the DVD. What do you call it? The one that opens up like a book and they had all the seasons.
Yeah,
I used to have one of those. Yeah. Man. Tony Soprano, man.
Yo.
The man.
What about you, Carl? What have you been watching?
I've just been following social media, just with the Hikoi and people's point of views and that. But there was one thing I did watch this week was was Deadpool versus Wolverine.
Ooh.
Finally got to watch it because it came on to Disney Plus.
Yeah,
I was waiting for that one to come on Disney Plus. So yeah, finally got to watch it, and yeah, because I'm a massive Wolverine fan. Like I love Wolverine. So You know, it was pretty cool. Like they did all the different versions of Wolverine, the apocalyptic Wolverine, the small man syndrome, you know, and that was cool. And it just like was cool just to see. It was cool seeing how much what's his name, Ryan Reynolds, the Deadpool main
Yeah.
actor. Like his comedy, it's like yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty good. You know, like he's right for that character, the Merc with the mouth. You know, like
Yeah.
yeah, he's perfect Deadpool. So you know that's what I was watching, and yeah, that's me.
Yo. Nah, sickles.
Yeah, for yourself, Lich?
Nah, bro, I haven't watched any television this whole week. That's just been because there's a page uploaded of just celebration of Non's life, and then people posting photos.
Yeah.
But man, there's been some crack up photos here. Like I want to share. I want to see if I can actually share it to the screen to the I wonder if I can pull it up. If I send it to you on Messenger, Eddie, would you be able to pull it up?
Yeah.
Okay, right. And the thing is, like, knowing our old boys from the neighborhood, right? There's some pretty big names in this picture. It's just funny, just very when it came up, man. We sort of started the joke by coming in to see nuns. You know what I mean? So if you made the wall, it's like everyone who had already gone in to see the host was coming out and already messaging each other. You made the wall. So in this photo, bro, it's the most funniest thing ever, bro. So on the back row, you got Nabil, he,
Wilson.
Henderson High. To the left, to the right of him is Ibrahim Lawaki, bro.
Yeah,
And then Junior Padia and Ray T, David Crichton. And that's Nuns there in the red shorts up the front. Danny Misianga and Kevin, I'm not too sure who the guy is to the left on Nuns, but that guy to the right of him is Marcus. But it's just funny, bro. Like seeing that photo and everyone messaging Hame or like whoever or Nabil is, oh yeah, I'm on my way. Then we're like, bring your hockey stick. Oblivious to what the joke is. But it's just funny, yeah. Like, bro, this would have been like Form 1 when they were Form 1. So those guys stayed at Bidwood.
was
But
that
yeah,
Birdwood? Eh?
good old crack up
Yeah,
photo, eh? Like when I saw that, man, everyone's having a good laugh about it, eh? Like everyone literally coming through. And the funniest thing, like with Hame's reply was, man, I should have just played hockey, eh? Would have had a longer career. But yeah,
Oh,
that's
man.
the funniest photo that I've seen this whole week, man.
Man, that's awesome.
But yeah, just it's good to just crack jokes and like especially through some it's not so much that we gotta cry about it, but just celebrating the host's life, So yeah, that's the way the Cali boys do it, right? We just take the piss out of each other until someone starts laughing at themselves getting mocked.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, sweet boys, so we get on to some last words, man.
Yo.
Start with you, Cal.
Last words?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Nah, I'm just pretty interested in seeing what's the repercussion of this Hikoi and just seeing where this movement goes and the government's response. And apart from that, yeah, just hope you fellas have a blessed week. The week coming and everybody else. And thanks for my first time here on the podcast.
Yo.
You know,
Yo.
got caught off the bench. Got caught off the bench. You know, got HIA, 18th man came in HIA.
Oh man, nice. Yes, the one.
Half an hour, 45 minutes before the podcast. But, like, no, this is cool, man. It's cool to finally meet you brothers as well. So,
Yo. Sick
Nah,
and
yous.
then
answering the
thank
calls.
you for just making this seamless and almost natural for me to jump on the podcast. But thanks to you, Leti and Iti.
Nah,
Have a
appreciate
blessed
you.
weekend to Cams as well.
Yeah.
You guys see Cams and he's had a good go ngai, Missed they say not being in Auckland having go ngai, see.
Oh God, oh boy.
Oh man,
Me, no.
that's me, man.
Sure,
Nah.
Eddie.
Iti,
Nah, yeah, man. Shot for jumping on, Kelvin. Really appreciate it, and hope I made a warm welcome as much as these guys welcome me on. man, Leti and Cams have been like two older brothers looking after me on this podcast, so really appreciate it. Now yeah, I'm the same man. See the outcome of this Hikoi. My last words is probably live life. Just with Nonu Pasi now, just gotta make those moments count, eh? We're all getting older. I don't know if I'm getting wiser, but I'm definitely getting older. But no, as a full-time bench player, no, work and cover. But yeah, that's my last words, man. Sick.
So, brothers, I just wanted to make a special acknowledgement, man. This is to the Swanson area. They celebrated 170th year, bro.
Wow.
So, on the 22nd of November, Swanson turns 170. In the grant of purchase document dated on the date in 1854, the Crown sold 171 acres to William Swanson, including the license being granted to cut timber on Crown land in the local area. A community photo was taken in 2004 to celebrate the 150th for Swanson, in a hope to again before our growing population makes it too challenging and acknowledge the 170th year. Swanson will keep the community updated as when it will happen. Watch this space. There's a picture of the Western leader with two photos of the community group. So one in 54, and then the other one in 2004. So that made the Herald. They made the Western leader.
Whoa.
So it's pretty choice. I sent it to the messenger also.
Yep.
That's unreal, man. I'm more Swanson because the bottom of Earlitz that backs up onto Birdwood Road between the creek is considered Swanson, you know. So I saw that in the just in the community chat.
Yeah.
So you gotta acknowledge those who came before us.
Yeah.
Yo.
Just to continue on what you're saying, Eddie. And like I'm always gonna say it too, man. But before I share my last words, I want to acknowledge a couple of future guests that I'll probably try and get on the back of the 135. To also Roger for the community work that he does. Old Liston boy, and to another Waitak old boy, Alofio Unoi. I know there's a story about him and his 15 heyday that needs to be retold, and I said the back of the 135 was the WesWes we're talking stories to the world, you know. So I created a list that I scanned through Non's celebrations. This from Saturday night, and I've probably got about 5 or 6 guys probably keen to come on and lace. So when I get to 10, I'll probably have Cams up, and we'll probably get the studio ready for those guys to pass through. But my last words is man, celebrate every small win. Like Eddie always says, so celebrate the small wins. Life is too short. We're not promised tomorrow. So the most you make in the moments and the minutes that you have, like a cousin of mine, Nabil said, he wakes up every morning and he eats the air. It's the breath of life, you know, and to share that and have that, digest that, is to open your eyes and touch the ground and be grateful to be alive. To celebrate my bro's farewell was probably the toughest thing I've done in a while, but it also gave me the strength to show face and be strong for his son and his mum as well. So my last words is man, live every moment like it's your last, man, because we never promised tomorrow. But in saying that, you know what it is, get it late and not live out. Shop boys. So that's another episode of Empty Out the Clip. What are we up to? Like 160 something? Sorry about that. 164, 165. Kem's on going, hey, I do not know who signed his permission slip to go do that the day of a pod. But shouts Cubs for jumping on, bro. It's good to meet you. And Shop Butcher. Yeah, man. And probably just a late belated birthday to Eric and to and to the full Bregovitz. So I hope you guys had a blessed week considering the circumstances that happened this weekend. So that's us, gents. Let's get the fuck out of here. Peace.